holiday season is here, but people are pissed. A new study from USA Today found out that 60% of Americans report feeling angry or irritable, which is up from 50% when a similar poll was done in 2011. I really don't understand this because every commercial you see on TV is for antidepressants, so they're obviously not working. You know, and there's all kinds of public people that are in this anger fit constantly between Alec Baldwin and Chris Brown and, you know, all of these endless people screaming about everything. And, you know, people are saying that the anger epidemic could be because of the economy, and people are upset about work and money and all that, and just the political gridlock. Do you think America is angrier than it used to be?
I think America's spoiled. I do. I think America's spoiled. I think America feels a bit entitled. I can speak for my generation particularly. There is a lot of entitlement, and that's where a lot of anger is coming from. It's like, no, you need to look at yourself. You need to hold yourself a little bit more personally accountable. And I think some of that anger. And I'll take this for example. I had a pretty rough day the other day, and in those moments, that's where you turn to gratitude. And you actually just turn it all the way around, and you be grateful for what you do have, and then you get a game plan and a strategy together. But what we know is Chris Brown's not angry because he doesn't have money. So, you know, that's that. I don't fully buy that.
Alec Baldwin also not.
Right, Josh Brolin, they're not broke. So.
By the way, Alec Baldwin, who lost his job at MSNBC this week, he still makes $15 million a year at Capital One, so he'll be okay.
Yeah. You know, I think people have always been angry. I mean, you talk to your parents, and they always talk about the negative people that were in their life. The problem is that they just didn't have Twitter back then. Right. To tell you on a daily basis how angry I am and about every little situation, or on TV, or 24-hour news networks. I mean, when you were angry back in the 80s, you didn't make the nightly news. Right. Now when you're angry, we've got 4 networks with 24-hour news coverage and YouTube to make sure that you know who's angry. I think people are probably exactly the way that they've always been. We just know about it more.
Right. Well, people always say we're more violent than ever, but then it's like, you know, during the Crusades, I'm pretty sure people walked around with an axe just hacking off somebody's head.
The numbers don't show that. That's not true.
Yeah. So the social media part, I think, is kind of interesting because, yeah, we can get caught up in all the anger all the time and all that. But I think there is something very comforting about social media, too, that if something bad happens, there's a shooting or something like that, or the terrorist attack in Boston, let's say, that we have some ability to share an experience.
Kind of breathe, and to know your neighbor's coffee choice in the morning. Those things are really important to know.
See their Instagrammed eggs.
Yes, I have to immediately go and see what kind of eggs you chose.
Yeah. Well, you know, another thing, though, that social media does that I don't like is it encourages a lot of people to do this stupid comparing thing, you know, where maybe I might wake up feeling okay about my life, and then I look at your timeline or your news feed, and now I'm pissed, you know, and that's, it's so silly. I hate that about it.
But isn't that really, to me, is like an Instagram thing, because everything looks so much better on Instagram. So you wake up and you go, oh, my friend had a glass of wine last night, but that wine looks
better than my wine because I pressed that little button.
And that's that spoiled thing I was talking about a second ago. Like, stop it. You know, let's just really take a moment and really like get this together in terms of what matters.
This is why the Thanksgiving talking points work, because people want to just follow somebody.
So bringing this full circle.
People are sheep.
What about anger at the holidays then? How do you deal with, you know, if you get into a big debate, do you just let it go or do you really bring it home?
Well, the problem is a lot of festivities are fueled by alcohol. And really,
that's
though.
That's either the problem.
I think it's a good thing. But no, and I think people just kind of have that stuff pent up, and then after, you know, by the time you get to nighttime at the house, it's all fair game.
Yeah, in my house, we always talk politics.
Politics.
Yeah, I mean.
My house too. Me and my mom, we go back and forth, and that's our thing. But,
So speaking of politics, how much of this, just the general anger thing, has to do with politics? Because of all the cable news stuff, and it's why I'm trying to do this show so that it's not just screaming at each other all the time.
Yes.
But if you look at something like Crossfire, which I think is the prototypical example of this thing, I'm on the right, I'm on the left, and that we live in this constant battle. So how much just general angst is because people just hear messages that are fighting with each other all the time, and we never stop and say, actually, most of what we're doing here is...
And people buy into it. What's crazy to me is when I'm on any other cable news show, and I actually deviate from this strong left or strong right, and I get to a point of consent. Like, people don't know what to do with it. And it's like, and people from the outside, some of the sheep, they're so tied to these talking points themselves and being fed them that they almost resent or don't know how to react when you deviate from that.
Yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.